Rh-negative genes are frequent in Europe, infrequent in Africa and West Asia, and virtually absent in East Asia and among the Aboriginal populations of Australia. By looking at Rh-negative blood type frequencies in different population demographics, it might become possible to identify a geographic origin. On a national level, Australia tops the percentage of Rh-negatives with 19%. Among some of the blonde tribes still living in the Atlas Mountains of Morocco, called Berbers, that percentage is doubled to 40%. Now keep in mind, it's restricted to certain local tribes in Morocco. Another group with legitimate claims of the highest Rh-negative blood are the Basque of the Pyrenees Mountains, reported in different publications as having up to 32% depending on location. The people of Northwest Ireland and the Western Islands of Norway all have between 16 and 25%, while the Lapps of Norway and Finland have around 7%. The frequency of Rh-negatives in Scotland varies between the low number of 10% on the Moray coast to 30% Rh-negatives in the Inverness regions of the West Coast. That said, there are many populations of Jewish people, such as the Jews of Iraq, which also rank amongst the densest Rh-negative tribes in the world. Comprehensive studies of blood types in the Americas show that the Mayans, Incas, and natives of Chile have had 5 to 20% of the population being Rh-negative. So what about other hominin pre-modern human genomes that have been sequenced? Do we know the blood type, for example, of Neanderthal? The answer is yes, we do know, and no, Neanderthal is not Rh-negative. Not only that, the Neanderthal specimen tested was not even a recessive carrier of the gene, which makes sense because East Asians have a much higher degree of Neanderthal genetics than Europeans, for example, and virtually no incidence of Rh-negatives in their population, compared to Europeans, which have a very high degree. Rh-negative blood arises in Cro-Magnon first, at the same time as domesticated animals show up, bow and arrows in the archaeological record, clothing, and many other attributes of civilization, including agriculture, which did not spontaneously pop up in different regions, but was spread or diffused by this same Cro-Magnon type people, which can help to explain why all royal families are of this haplotype. The term white supremacy is often attributed to a racist emotion or attitude by the media, but to an anthropologist, there is no civilization without agriculture, which allows for massive populations, armies, etc. And domesticated animals were a key reason for how agricultural civilization came about. For those of you that are not very anthropologically inclined, the biblical version of what I'm talking about is best explained in the Noah story, where Noah, having survived the rapidly melting glaciers and cataclysms at the end of the Ice Age, retained domesticated animals in Anatolia, such as horses and oxen, in his boat, spreading out during the Holocene from modern Turkey, where Mount Ararat is.